everybody. I'm Vicki Ostrom, and this is Jessica Gibbons-Rausch, and we are the face of Trendependent. And we are here today to review some trends that we've been seeing in 2021, and also to identify the new trends that we're going to see going into 2022. So you're able to educate your clients on what's trending and use it in your businesses. So as we came into 2021, we had a plan. And we were being very thoughtful about how we could transform our homes into our own personal sanctuaries to weather the storm of the pandemic. And we had 4 clear action points, which you can see on this page here. We wanted to use color and materials to soothe. We wanted to integrate nature as much as possible into every part of our lives. And we wanted to design a sustainable lifestyle. And we wanted to keep it organized. We were desperately trying to keep things organized, weren't we, Jessica?
At least that was the plan.
That was the plan. So we're going to review what that looked like as we go along today. And we're going to remember with sweet nostalgia who we were back in January of 21, oh, so many months ago.
And sometimes it feels like it was yesterday.
Sometimes, yeah, I look at that picture and it doesn't look like it's changed a lot. But we are going to see, as we go along, the beginnings of how we've developed into the multisensorial beings that we are today. Because having turned our attentions inward, especially as the pandemic first started and we were inside so much, we were doing things like this that we can see on this picture. We were having to cook our own food because we just could not get out to a restaurant. And I don't know about you, but I'm still not really going out that much anymore. But
it
luckily,
has to be pretty important to put on real pants.
It's true. It's true. And, luckily in our industry, we have a lot of companies that have, brought some new things out that address the beautiful foods that we can have at home and make at home now.
This has been such a great area that our industry has really stepped up. People like Maple Ridge Farms with their amazing coffee cakes that they can literally send out to end users so that when you couldn't celebrate in person, you could still have that connection and celebrate from anywhere. Mm-hmm. Or the art of the charcuterie board, which has just been so popular. And it's, I think it was last holiday season, it was hard to get the slate ones because there was such a run on them. And Gemline put on their holiday lookbook cover just a beautiful piece where it's that wooden board with the artistry that's going in. And it's so amazing that we can create that kind of art in our own homes, but we can also support them with things like a branded board to put it on. Or Batch of Bodega came out with a cocktail kit where you could just add your own booze and create your own cocktail so we could have a virtual cocktail party. And I adore that because who knows where you're going to be, what your comfort level is, but you can still have that experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're beautiful. We're making some really restaurant quality foods at home now. And that's something that we started doing in 21 out of necessity. And now that is something that we're going to see continue on as we go into 22 as well. And how thankful we were in 21 also for ultra comfy, cozy blankets to wrap around ourselves like a big hug. And we understood that cocooning and pampering ourselves, the importance of sleep and how foundational it was to our overall well-being.
I've loved, again, this is where we've really stepped it up. Not only is things like Sherpa lining is huge, like it's in everything. It's in a blanket, it's in a hoodie, it's in lining.
Yeah, it's majorly, comfort. In the apparel world too.
Weighted blankets coming out, everyone wanting that comfort, that being able to relax. One thing I've seen is sleep masks have become so much more available. I got one from PromoCares when they were doing their Sleeping for Good campaign, and it was something I really wanted, so I was very excited about it. But being able to give us something like that too, where you're encouraging rest, you're encouraging sleep, relaxation, and that textural feel. I mean, it's just so amazing that we're able to provide these kind of products that are exactly what people are looking for.
Yeah, those soft textures are really, really important to us. We've also seen this happy memory of, say, past camping trips that we've been able to have envelop us with just a whiff of a delicately scented pine candle. And that's something that we've seen in our industry really being an important part of the last year, especially, are these beautiful candles. And tell us a little bit about some of the things that you've seen.
Well, and candles have always been available, but they've never really been as interesting or beautiful as what's available now. Places like the book company Good and Well Supply that are featured here, or Snugs, who has some really beautiful products available as well. Um, every time you have this scent, like one of these is even it's literally called self-care scented. I know exactly how I should feel when I
Yeah.
smell it. I was shopping in a Glen Ellen store, the town that I live in, and they actually had one that said fall in Illinois. I didn't have to smell that to know what I should think it smelled. Now, coming from the farms, I think it maybe a bit a little different than what I was thinking,
Yeah.
but I automatically have that nostalgia and that feeling. And I love this idea. You can commemorate almost anything. Maybe it's those presidents clubs of long, before when we were able to go out, something a little bit tropical, but the quality is amazing. And I love these art pieces. I mean, this is something that you would go and buy in retail and you'd want to keep and reuse once it's been burned up.
Yeah, exactly. I've seen these containers being something that you can reuse, which is a really big trend as well. So, what Jessica and I are telling you about is this really big trend that is we're seeing for 2022, which is designing for all of our senses. And it's one of the biggest drivers of product going into 2022. And it's something that we're understanding because we see how acutely these sensorial moments are bringing us joy and comfort. So, one of the things that you were telling me about, Jessica, in relation to this designing for the senses, that I thought was a really great example to show what we're talking about is this ice cream kit. So, tell us a little bit about that.
So this is the Scoops and Sprinkles kit from Batch and Bodega. And I know I've mentioned them before, but they're just doing some really great stuff right now. But I saw this at the ASI Chicago show, and it was so interesting that it's a kit it's got toppings for your ice cream, your ice cream cone. All you have to do is add your own ice cream for whatever your preferences are. But when you open the box, it plays the song that you play when you have an ice cream truck. I have no
That's
idea
so
what
smart.
it's called, but as soon as I say it, you can hear it in
Yes.
your head.
Yeah.
And it was just that little add-on, that little
Mhm.
extra that just really made the whole thing so much
Yeah.
more
It like
fun.
brings the experience 360 and
Exactly.
elevates it. Very smart.
Exactly.
That's a perfect example. And even in the digital space, and we've all been experiencing the digital sphere for
Like I
like
live
12
with a
hours a
computer
day.
these days.
Yeah. Which is, it's such a luxury that we're able to do that. A lot of people are able to work from home, which is really great. It's making our lives work. But there's this major emphasis in creating ways to design touch or the sensation of various textures, even in the digital world, because of that reason. WGSN Trend Service said it really well recently as to why this is happening. They said, as humans become more digital, technology will become more human. And that's what we're seeing with some of these ways that we're designing this into the digital world. And one of the leaders in this field is a woman named Lucy Hardcastle. And this is an image from her Instagram, and it really tells you everything you need to know about why designing for the senses is so important. She said, it's because memories last longer than things, and sense memories can help us connect with our customers in a more profound way. We're literally trying to design emotion into our interactions with products. And that's also why nostalgia is such a strong trend lately. Nostalgia sparks joy and it brings comfort to us in uncertain times. And of course, that's where we've all been for the last year and a half, for sure. And there's a couple of case studies I wanted to show you really quick here about how this is being done really successfully. Arby's recently had some of their branded product smoked by a Texas pitmaster. So
I love that.
I know it's very clever. Each of the items then got a smoky smell, and that reminds the consumer of how delicious the Arby's real country style rib sandwich is, which is really smart. And then also on this page, I have HelloFresh, and it's a food kit company that introduced a commercial campaign called Good Food, Good Mood. And it stimulated all 5 of your senses to get potential customers to understand viscerally what it would be like to get a HelloFresh meal delivered to their home, and then what it would be like if they were making it. And this innovative campaign utilizes an autonomous sensory meridian response, or
Sounds complicated.
ASMR. Yeah, ASMR is what some people will have heard of before, and it's a style which employs inviting kitchen sounds like knife slicing and oil sizzling and an egg cracking. So you heard all of these things on their video. And I have a transcript in the middle of the page here of their video. And they are actually talking about this in the words that they're saying. They say, do you hear anything? What does it sound like? What can you smell? Can you smell each ingredient in the sauce? Take a deep breath. So, they're really engaging all of the senses of their customer. So even though some of the items in our merchandising kits in our industry don't necessarily have the capacity to, engage all of our senses, it's about how you put the things together. And this is something that you've talked a lot about to me, Jessica. And I think, you have some really creative examples too.
Yeah, it's not the time where you can just kind of shove a widget into a box and hope we're good, or you can just throw something out there. It really has to be an elevated experience where you're thinking about, what do you want the end user to feel? What do you want them to be triggered? What ties in? What's different? You have to use your imagination. You have to get out there and think of things. And I know things are hard now. Supply chain, it's not getting much better, and it is hard to get products. But that's where you need to really look at and see what makes the most sense for what you're doing. And when you put it all together, it'll turn into something really cohesive that creates that experience that what you're looking for.
Yeah, I mean, I think you're right. It's just, you really are thinking through, like, is there a sound component? Is there a touch? Is there a smell? There's a lot of ways that you can get at these ideas. And one of the things that you brought to my attention, and I actually made a slide for you because I thought it was so clever and just a very innovative idea. So talk us through this example.
So this is definitely a great example of out there. So we were able to go to restaurants. Everybody's out remote. We're not being able to go to our favorite places. Well, there was a restaurant change that had some signature items that were actually looking a way to connect with their audience. And one of the things they came up with was a bath product that was like their salad dressing. Thank God it was a citrus scent.
Yeah.
If it was super basil, I don't know how I'd feel about that. But another friend of mine who actually manufactures bath bombs was able to connect with this person that was looking for this project, and was able to use essential oils to mimic a bath bomb. And with bombs, you got like the effervescent, it's a whole experience, but it was giving them that scent of the dressing so that they could remember what being that in that experience was. And social just blew up about it. These influencers that got these kits, they were raving about it. And it's amazing that you're thinking of something that you taste, but now you're touching it and you're experiencing it. You're smelling, you're like the whole experience of having a bath. And
I love that they brought it into the beauty sphere, because that whole beauty and wellness world is such an important trend space right now. So like you say, you're sitting in the bath, you're having a quiet moment, and you're remembering these good times you've had with your friends, and smelling, this citrus smell that reminds you of that salad dressing. It's really brilliant. So that's a great example as well of someone doing something very creative to bring a sensorial moment to their customer. So let's switch gears a little bit into our homes and other parts of our home except for the bathroom. So we've looked to a pared back palette for the last year of natural colors. A lot of us have done a lot of remodeling or even just repainting, redecorating of our homes. And we've used natural colors from the earth to literally ground us. We've used natural fibers and wood and ceramics, cork, warm brass. That's something we've seen in kitchens a lot. And it's a trend that has legs and is very much continuing into 2022 and beyond.
And this isn't just in homes. We're seeing these in promotional products right now, where you have drinkware that's ceramic and then also has a cork lining, or wood tones are coming in each and every product that's available out there. So this kind of throwback to natural fibers it's something that those consumers are looking at in their homes. And it's amazing that we can pull in these products that are going to end up looking like they fit into your decor.
Exactly.
If you have a charger that's made out of a wood tone, that's just going to look beautiful on your end table rather than just a piece of plastic.
Yeah. Nature is trend proof. And that's something that, we started talking about in 21. And it's because when everything is out of control, even the weather, we've actually gained a deeper appreciation for what we have. And the tactile warmth and the inherent coziness and natural materials are calming and they're soothing to us. And that's been really, really important in the last 18 months. And another part of that nature story is plants. As we've spent so much time indoors in the last 18 months, we've become concerned about our air quality in our homes. That's been a very big topic of discussion. And since we know that plants improve air quality naturally, integrating nature was and continues to be on our minds. And they're really a natural mood boost. They're a great decoration. And caring for a living plant also encourages us to slow down and to take a break. And that's been something very important. On our desks, plants are calming, and there's also a trend towards sculptural plants and photogenic plants because we're all always Instagramming our worlds to share with our friends. And again, our industry has definitely responded with some amazing options for plant kits. So talk a little bit about some of these things that you pulled together for us to show us.
I've always been a big advocate for plants. If I can gift something, it's always going to be a plant. I think you've heard me talk about Denise, my philodendron, who's living her best life.
Yes.
I've given clippings to all of my friends in the neighborhood. But I love that again, we have amazing suppliers that are stepping up. And Gemline added Modern Sprout, which is a retail brand. And they were able to connect these little grow kits in a beautiful planter that looks very retail. It's terracotta colors, earth tones, as well as hydroponics. So even the brownest of thumbs can still have fresh basil in their kitchen, ready to go for their pizza. And let me tell you, fresh basil on pizza, it makes a world of difference.
Amazing.
Or in the cocktail you're going to have along with it, as well as lavender, all sorts of different options. The other option that I have pictured here is a little camp mug that I got from Illini at a show I was at. And camp mugs are still a huge trend anyway, but this little tiny mini one with a little mini grow kit, of course I'm going to take that home and I'm going to grow it. But being able to have these options where they're branded, this is something, it's a living thing that people are going to see on a regular basis, or they'll replace the seeds and put something else in. But the branding capabilities are amazing. And they're just fun.
Yeah, I love it. And like you say, I love that they really look like they integrate into a home setting so well. The colors have been, shifted to be very appropriate for the trends that are happening in home right now. So it's really, really smart. So, a lot of the things that we were doing in 21 were about control of our spaces. We wanted to organize our kitchens, our spices, our containers of our, that are in our homes, because that was a way that we were gaining control when everything felt out of control. But now as we go into 22, the way that we're doing it more and more is through our clothing choices. And we're really designing our wardrobes to have this core group of clothing in neutrals like black and navy and white and gray, even brown and earth tones. And we're adding in pops of super brights, which we're calling dopamine brights, which they literally give us this adrenaline boost.
That yellow makes me happy just to look at it.
It's like optimism in a color for sure. So, we're being cautious and smart about the core items that we spend our money on. We're and increasingly what we're buying are what's called elevated essentials. And it looks a lot like what you see on the page here. It's hoodies, sweatshirts, t-shirts, a lot of these streetwear items that have integrated their way into our office wear actually. But they're being made of premium materials. And in our industry, we also have just some gorgeous fabrications in hoodies and t-shirts and things that are so soft and luxurious and really elevate the look of the item to a place where you could even wear it into an office.
But I think that the more structured, restrictive office wear of before, it's gone. It was on its way out before the shutdowns, but now there's certain things we're not willing to give up. And one of those things is comfort. And anyone who's
100%.
trying to merchandise some kind of a uniform program or give a gift to employees, don't overlook a higher end hoodie, a higher end sweatshirt, a t-shirt, even as long as it's something that's comfortable, that's a really greatly made piece, people will wear it and they'll enjoy it. And I think that's important, is that feeling of joy that you're going to get from having that piece.
Definitely. I mean, I think, and I've read a lot of articles this year about employers understanding that if their employee feels comfortable in the kinds of things that they're wearing, that they actually do a better job at their job. And especially as the employment market has been so difficult, being able to choose a uniforming piece that's something that someone would wear in their everyday life anyway, because streetwear is such a trend with especially a lot of youth. It's really a win-win. So you can have this elevated essential item that also looks good in a workspace, in a uniforming program even. So finally, we realized also in 21 that being well is a holistic matter now, from inside to outside. We want a healthy, strong body and a healthy, strong mind. Our physical and our mental wellness is tied to being outdoors as we move into 2022. The outdoor boom is real. And if possible, we want to play outdoors with our friends and our family. So we're seeing things like croquet being popular, and giant Jenga and cornhole are all really popular games. But maybe nothing is more popular even than pickleball, which had a 650% increase in popularity since 2013.
Well, let's take a minute for the fact that they measure how popular pickleball is.
It's true.
But it's true. I've seen these pickleball courts. It's at my health club. It's in my neighborhood. They're popping up everywhere. I even heard Kirby Hassman talking about going out and playing with his wife during the week as a way to get outdoors. And it's a little bit easier than something like tennis.
Yeah.
And I love that. I love that we can go out to a park. Maybe during the shutdowns, we've explored our areas more. We know where the parks are. We know where the forest preserves are. And I went out they have a big tent in one of our towns, and we were waiting for a table, and they had a Connect Four that we could sit and we could play while we waited.
Cool.
The capacities are lower, the wait times are longer.
Yeah.
Service is slower, so you have to wait. And having something that we could do while we were waiting was amazing. And there's suppliers out there like Peerless Umbrella and AAA who have these great options. Even this smaller kit that we have pictured from Snugs with these beautiful stone pieces that would honestly be art in a home, but you could also take it out and use it outdoors. And some newer products that have just come out, like Numo having picnic blankets that pack up into a little tiny pocket, so you can be outdoors wherever you want to be.
Yeah.
And I think that's great. Being out and connecting with nature, it's just such a stress relief. It's so connective, and it's a great way to be healthy. And I think that's what everyone is looking for.
Yeah, definitely. Any product that has to do with outdoor, whether it's outdoor coats, hats, scarves, any kind of outdoor apparel is really a big trend right now for this outdoor boom reason, as well as these games like you were talking about. So finally, let's just talk a little bit about sustainable products. We realized, as we've talked a lot about climate change in the last year and really seen the effects of climate change, this idea of sustainability has become top of mind. And we're seeing a lot of products in our industry really pop up. And this is great because we do want to continue to educate our clients on the kinds of things that sustainable products that we have in our industry. And it's important because there's a lot of pressure actually even within our families from our younger generations, our generation Alpha, which is the generation even before Gen Z. So Alphas are about 11 right now. Gen Zs are up to about 24. And they are generations that definitely understand how important sustainability is to our planet. So even though they may not be doing the actual purchasing of products, they are influencing a lot of purchasing that's happening in families. So being able to tell our customers about the products that have a sustainable footprint in some way is really important. There's a lot of stuff going on in our industry.
There is, and there's so many options. And like you said, the generation looking for this, even as a geriatric millennial, I would say that behavior, if I can choose something that's sustainable, I will, even if I'm, even if it's something as simple as a cleaning product. So this is what the end users are looking for. And there's so many options. You have Near at Gemline and Corksicle that have give back options. You have B corporations like Exactly or Raining Rose. Or Raining Rose, they came out with a potato resin lip balm. I mean, that's like blows my mind.
I love all these new products.
There's Patriot line from Hirsch that gives back to the veterans. So it's not even just about that. There's social options as well. But this is, like you said, this is the key. You have to be able to educate your client that this is why it costs a little more. This is what it's giving back to. This is why it's important. This is why it's applicable. But when you're able to have that conversation, people are willing to pay more if they know that it has that give back or that's sustainable or it has a cause, it has a purpose.
And I love that there's a lot of ways to get at the sustainability message too. It can be fibers of the product, and it can be also just good things that the brands are doing. So there's a lot of answers in the sustainable world, and all of them count and all of them matter to your customers. So definitely, keep that in mind and talk about it. So as we came into 21, let's review back to where we started. We had a plan. And as we go into 22, we definitely have a plan also, and it looks a lot the same, with the only real changes is maybe where we're putting our emphasis and going a little bit deeper. So trends to remember for 22 are to design for all 5 senses, create experiences with products. We gave you a lot of examples of what that could look like today. Sustainable lifestyles are the goal. Getting outdoors with friends is key. It's a huge part of our wellness plan for ourselves. And sustainable items matter, as Jessica was just saying. Add products with a purpose to your lineup and tell the story about them. It's really important for your customers to know, because they will definitely see good return on their investment, because it does matter to the world, and it matters to the people that you're selling to. So tell them all about it. So thank you guys so much for sticking with us today and learning about some trends. Check out trendependent.com. Jessica and I are always working on bringing any of our new trend information that we have to you through that medium. And, come back and see us again at Promo Corner when we do another trend presentation for you. Thank you.